Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Peace, y'all. I'm Jonny Cool, coolest of all time.
Hello.
Hey, what's good? How you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Well, okay. Well, born and raised Portland, Oregon, youngest of 5 siblings. Come from a very musical family.
Gotcha. Okay, I imagine.
My mother was a soul singer when she was here on Earth. Was in backup singer, had her own band.
Oh, damn.
My father, I always say if there was social media back in the day, he'd be booming right now. He'd be more, he'd be a legend. He is a legend to me, but he's been on tour with the Stylistics at the age of 14. Whoa. He was Miles Davis's roadie. Toured with Styx.
Okay.
Etta James. You name it. His last big gig was I think he joined the SOS band, and he also played with BB King.
Dang.
The rest of his life. Yeah.
Dang.
So he's like, yeah, my dad. He's still playing. He's live in Eugene. So I come from a musical.
If he ever wants to be on the show, I would love to talk to him.
Man, that'd be real cool. I'll come over here with you. But
yeah.
Me, I just, I got into music later in life. I was
interesting.
More so into, I was a little sketchbook nerd. I used to just draw all the time and sci-fi buff.
Gotcha.
So, and then by the time I was maybe senior year, I was just times were different, early 2000s. And I don't know why, I got into music because I really wanted to be on 106 in Park. I wanted to be on the couch being interviewed. I didn't know for what. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I was like, I want to be on Rap City in the basement. And part of it was because I seen, do you know DJ OG1? Yeah, he was.
I know of. I have not met him yet.
Okay.
DJ OG1.
Yeah,
cool. Be on the show.
Cool dude. Yeah. And he was on Rap City in the basement. I remember seeing him my senior year, and I'm just like, I just saw him, and now he's on. So I felt like, but also hearing stories about my dad and who he's played with, and I'm just like, I guess this is what we do. This is what we do here. I also grew up in a house where the rapper Cool Nuts would always, he would come around, and my older brother, my stepbrother Ray, he had a rap group, and it was just always, I was always in a house with some kind of music going on.
I was always around you.
Yeah, I was around me, and so I was just like, man, I guess this is what we do. We can, I want to be on 106 in Park, and so
that's a great I kind of grew up with that in my house a lot. So that was always kind of what I wanted to lean towards as far as the world went too. So I don't hear people mentioning 106 in Park very much nowadays, and that's crazy.
It's crazy to me. Yeah,
that was how you found out, especially on the West Coast. That was how you found out.
You just found out who was who. I found out about other producers and just between Rap City and and always loved music videos. And my mom used to force me and my siblings to do karaoke, besides singing California Raisin songs and stuff like that. So music wasn't foreign to me.
Yeah.
It was just never an idea. And I ended up joining a band my senior year. A lot of people don't know that.
Interesting.
I joined a band.
How did you play? Or were you the vocalist?
I was a vocalist.
Gotcha,
I was the front man, and they wanted me to rap, and I was like, I never rap. So
interesting.
The only song I knew from front to back was Jay-Z's Song Cry. So the band, we did a live version of that, and my mom was like the soul singer sample in the song, so she performed with me. So she did all the cool harmonies, and I wish I knew somebody who had that recording, but it'd be kind of nervous too because my voice was so, I was like, I sound way younger than I was. So that kind of like pumped me up to like, I'm like, wow, okay, now I'm writing raps, trying to write raps, and maybe like I want to say like a year after high school, my late Uncle Johnny gave me a computer because my mom, I'll talk to her all the time about being creative and just like, Mom, I have this energy, I want to know what to do, like and basketball wasn't my thing anymore. I would draw, but I would just kind of run out of ideas, and I would draw cartoon characters of myself all the time. And that's where I drew Jonny Cool. I made up Jonny Cool when I was like 19.
Okay, cool. Well, dang, I have a question about that later.
And then, but my uncle gave me this computer, and it had like Fruity Loops. It had a bunch of different programs on there, and it was this old computer. It was on his last leg, and so I tried it. I knew a guy who was making beats on Fruity Loops and popai.pro, which is now Adobe Audition.
Yep.
And so he used those two, and he got married, and he just kind of like dipped, from the music scene. And so I kind of felt like, well, I kind of know what he was doing. I kind of know how to loop at least, but nothing like I never knew. So I just kind of by the time I was 20, I was like, man, I took it serious. I was like, I put this before anything, any job I get. And kind of just like listening to my mom and my father talk about their music. Like my mom will be like, I work at the bank, but I'm not a banker. I'm a singer. Like, you tell people what your mom do, you tell them I'm a singer. Not, I may work at customer service or I may work at, I may be doing taxes or whatever, but like my thing is singing. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, you know what? My thing is making beats. And so I just, like, that was my Dungeons and Dragons to the nerd. That was like my thing. And I just remember being like 20 and not going out, not really knowing. I didn't even know what downtown Portland looked like. I didn't really know the scene. By the time even I was 21, 22, I was still like, I'd go downtown sometimes on a random, but never like. Yeah,
and then you were always like, how long till I can get back to my studio?
Yeah, not at night. And it's like the idea was like, man, if anybody want to come and hang out, they could just come to my place. I had a little spot in St. John's at the time, which I didn't grow up in St. John's. I grew up in Northeast Portland. But people would come by. They would see my little light in the window, and they were like, "Oh, he's up there making beats." And I just got known for it in so little time. Like I think I mentioned to you, like within 3 or 4 years, I was already like. Showing my music to folks at Nike and just making really good connections, and ended up working with John Legend and on with his producers, and that was like, and that, literally I was just like about four, not even 5 years into making music, and so I was just like kind of skyrocketed. But I feel like those little 4 years felt like 8 years because I really didn't go nowhere. I spent like
you were there every day, man. Waking minute you were working.
Talk about when Kanye said 5 beats a day for 3 summers. I took that serious. I was like, at least make something. I gotta start out with anything, and I just feel like I multiplied that time within it because there was just no breaks, no breaks at all.
I remember, and it's just a small story of my experience real quick. I remember there was a time where I was like, I'm gonna work on a song every day for 30 days. Every day for 30 days, I'm gonna sit down at the computer for a minimum of an hour. So if by the end of an hour I've tried everything and nothing's coming out, fine. I sat there, but for 30 days straight. And the only thing that was going to happen is at the end of 30 days, the song was going to be done. So like I had to kind of measure in some like mix master time. I had to think of when to stop making like musical creative decisions. But like by the end of that 30 days, the song was super weird. Not going to lie. I don't have it now. I don't know what happened to it. I wouldn't show you if I did. It was like 10 minutes long. It had like 2 speech excerpts in it. Like it was wild. But the amount of like things I picked up from having to be like, okay, well, what can I do different? What can I have? Like, I got to do something today. What, like, let me just try this. Let me just try that. I opened every plugin in Logic 9 and just like tried everything I could. And by the time I was done, again, song didn't turn out great, but the amount of like things I had learned, the like, I was like, now I know this does this. Now I know I can use this to do that. Now I know these two things do this.
Man, that's everything was like self-taught. I'm like pushing knobs and buttons. I'm like losing tracks and like doing things to my beat. So I'm like, I don't know how to undo this. Like, what did I just do? Like the whole entire song has reverb on it now. Like, I don't know how to turn it off. But like, I just remember I took like a whole, earlier in my music journey, I would say like the most break I took was just to loop and sample. Like, I was like, I was going to put these beats together. I'm just going crazy on like, I had to
build a catalog.
Just collecting records, going to record shops and bringing them home and just pulling what I want and throwing them into this big old folder I had called Chop Shop. And I still got that folder. I got 2 folders.
Oh, hell yeah.
2. And these is folders from 2006, 2007, like just like a whole library of just like vocal samples, like, and
era of
and learning how Just Blaze sound. He's a wizard to me, wizard god. So you can't do what Just Blaze does, but you can hear like, oh, he took this part of the song and that part of the song, and Ninth Wonder putting together these pieces of the puzzle. So I'm like, from DJ Premier, from Jay Dilla, all these producers, and like Black Milk and just, Shock G, all these DJ Quick, Warren G, so many people, I've gone down the list of like, what are they doing? Like, how can I get my sound to be like that? And I didn't know anything about mixing. I didn't even know, like, I remember DJ Clark Kent, rest in peace, talking to him on the phone, and he was just like, yeah, man, like you're recording your master's way too high, like it's bleeding through, and then had a chance to speak to Pharrell at one point, and he heard my beats at around that time, and similar advice, but he was telling me, he was like, it's like, yeah, it's too hot right now, like you need to turn down your mix, and also you ain't got no words to your songs. All you have is hundreds of beats. And I was like, oh, you're right. He goes, what are they for? It's like, are they for the radio? Or are they for like TV shows? I was like, oh, you're right. Absolutely right. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'd like to see him now and show him all the songs I've ever made.
Well, if you're watching.
But it's like, there's so much like of that era of like, yeah, these things were cool. Like being able to speak to Pharrell and, be in a studio at Electric Lady with a bunch of, great music artists. But the most I pulled from that was we were all there working, and where their ears was. And I got to meet some iconic people that I always like to hear. Like I got to meet Mos Def, and
oh, damn.
I thought it was going to be like I low-key thought he was about to cypher like over, because I'm like in Electric Lady. Yeah. Long story short, I'm in Electric Lady. This is like 2010, and it was a summer night in like August, and it was when Kanye West was recording. He was dropping all these like Good Friday songs. He was also working on My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I got to be in that. Not in the same room as him, but I got to be in the same studio, and I was in a room with a bunch of his record label folks, showing them my beats, and like you could hear him and Swiss Beats in the other room, like they're working on Runaway. They're working on that song Runaway, and at the time you don't know it's Runaway, but like I just thinking like, man, these guys are here. It's Friday night. It's late, and like Pusha T is there. Mos Def was there, and Don C, all these great names were there, but they're all just working. Like I can sit here and talk about like, yeah, they're, what they're wearing or whatever they're doing, but like, nope. The most important thing I got from that was like, I'm like, you were right all along. Like to not be going out Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where the magic is. And so from there, I was even more hooked to just being like, you know what? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I'll step out for like a nice drink, but I'm going right back home.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going right where the music is, and I end up moving back with my mom. She needed some help, and just being in that room, kind of living with my mom, really helped me to ground and get way more work done. I remember from like 2000 and I want to say 12 to like 15,
mm-hmm.
hundreds of songs, just hundreds of ideas. Like I have so many beats from that moment now still
mm-hmm.
that I go back for references. I'm like, I know I got those drums. I know I got them that snare somewhere, and like looking at old folder. But that time just taught me to like no matter who I ran into as far as like being like a big old iconic rap artist or musician or something like that, it's always been something similar to where their work ethic, their body of work,
mm-hmm.
their studio etiquette and things like that really showed me to like this is what you do. Like you're gonna always bump into somebody who's like, big in the music scene, but the reason why you guys are, I would say, attract each other is because they can probably sense that you don't take no breaks.
Mm-hmm.
They can probably sense that you really want to know what you're talking about and doing. And that I'm like, it's in the language, like I know when I'm talking to some like guy who's just like makes cool beats.
Yeah.
Versus like somebody who's like, oh yeah, no, like, this is in here. This is what I do. And like, there's a producer. I don't even call him just a producer. He's like a mega artist here, Tony Ozier. Mm-hmm. And to me, I'm always like I like his music,
mm-hmm.
and he's a great engineer, but also like his music mind is out of this world. Like he's a funketeer. He's a real funkster.
Yeah.
So like people like him, I feel like if you meet Tony Ozier, you're going to feel like you've met Pharrell. You're going to feel like it's the same feeling I get like when I met these major artists, because it's not like, oh wow, I'm so shocked because I seen you on TV.
Yeah.
It's like, no man, like you can tell like this person knows what the hell to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know they have, they know the gear. They can help you. Like I remember recently I got the chance to work with Tony Ozier. That's our first time being on something that's got put out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But like even just like him helping with the mix of, he's like, listen to this, and he's like, you hear that? There's a humming right underneath that
mm-hmm.
that synth. I'm like, yeah, he's activated his third ear, and that's the kind
mm-hmm.
of stuff I like to be around. And
third ear is I like that term.
Yeah. I would say, my third ear get activated, but I hear like other little things, and you be in the right place for the right melody. But yeah. So I mean, that's kind of where I musically, I didn't think I would, I didn't think I would end up anywhere.
Yeah, because you like weren't even in it in the beginning, and then you got into it kind of late, and then you like snowballed from that. You like really made up for lost time if you think about it.
Yeah, made up for lost time in a crazy way, and then and then after that experience, coming back from New York and things, and working with those artists, I just remember like, I don't know, like there's a feeling that I get. It's like I want to say it's more than just inspiration. It's more than just being motivated. I felt like this is my life now. Like I can't once you know the truth about something, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
You can ignore it, but it's kind of like, this so much about yourself. You know this about yourself, and you know that there's this thing. And I went through a moment where I felt like it was supposed to be about me, because you just don't know. You're like, hey, am I supposed to be famous? Am I supposed to be this thing? But that lasted for about a year or so. And I just, I couldn't keep up with talking to everybody all the time. And
man, I can't deal with I don't love the whole narrative, especially right now, of like, how are you monetizing that? How are you making that your like what you do all the time? Like, how are you making that the thing that like sustains this image of life that everybody thinks we have to maintain, versus just doing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the love of doing it can start and stop at the doing it part, and anything else that comes from it can be a byproduct of the love.
And but that's why I learned, like, just to be like, I think talking to my dad too. He said, you and your uncle Jonny, we were doers. We had, you could talk about ideas a whole lot. Like, I got people who run ideas by me, like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to make a song like this. Yeah. It's like, why don't you just make a song like that then? Just do it. Start it. Like, have you started the drums? Have you started the loop? Anything like a 4-bar? Start with a 4-bar loop. Sing the melody in your phone. Like, don't tell me about the songs that you want to make. Like, just show me the songs that you want to make. Even
especially now, like,
it's so easy.
Now it's so easy to try anything. And if you're just like, I only do this, you're like, but you could.
Yeah, and so like I do like I don't know if I do like other kind of arts.
Yes, you have quite a broad palette of creativity.
Yeah, and and that comes from I didn't know that I had this thing synesthesia. So have you know what that is?
I don't know.
So synesthesia, I'm gonna say the whole like the Webster definition.
That's all right.
But it's like when people say like, man, your shirt is too loud. Turn that down. It's like colors and sound, are, to me, they feel the same, So I'm like, I do see sound and I do hear the colors.
Interesting.
They have a texture to me. So like I'm listening to music and my hands want to do this thing, and like I know it. I can see them. I can feel them, and mood. It changes my mood, and I've learned throughout the years to like isolate sounds, and like if somebody has a really annoying voice and they're talking so much, and I know I can zip them up. I just go, I don't hear them right now.
Yeah.
Or the city's loud, somebody leaf blower, monster truck or whatever is flying by. It's like I can cancel that out as much as I can, without it affecting the way I see things. And I try to tell people like, hey, I enjoy you talking to me, starting the small talk, but but right now I'm seeing something, I'm getting something, and it may not be music. If I'm not in the right place at the right time, I don't know what it's telling me to do, but it could turn into a painting. It can turn into me just drawing on my clothes or writing a poem. It has to come out somehow, and luckily it turns into art, because I wouldn't know else how to explain what it is.
Yeah. But
the synesthesia I get is like when I hear certain, especially beautiful notes and chords, it flows right in front of my face, like a angel light, and I want to like dig in there, touch it, but you can't. In a way, it's kind of like, and then it turns into, where is this scene at? Where is this music at? What is the temperature? What are we wearing? What colors? Like today, I'm like looping these old soul samples. I got this song called "Jealous," and I'm working on. And it made me feel like these colors, like this is why I stayed up all night trying to figure out like, what is this colors, what are these, that I feel. And the bass is like brown. It's like this kind of brown. It's not like a dark brown, but it's like this.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for a while. It's like wearing the colors wearing the sounds that I hear and turning them into outfits, or sometimes I am at different notebooks, sketchbooks. I just write out the colors that I'm feeling, like color palettes, and I'm like, ooh, like I've been feeling like this. It's like the lightest, like a lighter version of this pink, like a tone lighter, and in a really dark green, and in a like a sand tan, and I'm like, those colors, I can write those down. And I can eat those. I feel like I can eat them, and I can hear them.
There was something about the way you said really dark green. You added this like gravelly, like almost like jazz singer touch to it, and I was like, oh, I see. I get it. I get it.
And so I was like, that's how, like, when people say, well, how do you start getting creative? I'm like, well, sometimes it's just...
Don't share that yet. There's actually a whole question on that one.
Yeah, okay.
There's a whole question for that. We'll save that for the middle.
Yeah.
But actually, because I want to get us a little more to the present, thank you for sharing so much of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we really have a good foundation, but there are a couple questions I like to check in with everybody on. This first one is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Ooh, The first album I ever bought with my own money was See Murder from No Limit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What made you choose that?
my brothers.
Okay.
My brothers listen to No Limit. And me and my cousins, we all listen to that kind of like Master P was as big up here as he probably was in the South. Maybe not as in the South, but like between like Bay Area rap and Southern rap. That's, I listened to that growing up more than I got to listen to Wu-Tang or A Tribe Called Quest. I didn't really listen to, you captured some of those East Coast rappers on Rap City or whatever, or Hit List on BT, but like my brothers listened to like Sibo and RBL Posse and Celly Cell and stuff like that. So like when No Limit got big, I was like, I don't know, I liked C Murder because his voice reminded me of Tupac, and I thought I'd get the same thing, but my mom did not want me to listen to that CD. But I was telling her, I was like, this song right here, he don't cuss that much. I was like, y'all cuss more in the house than this album. But I liked C Murder, and I felt like he had such a Tupac kind of flow, and then second album I bought was Mace.
Oh dang, okay.
Yeah. Mace became my favorite rapper. I want to say was it Harlem World? I think I bought Harlem World.
That's a name I don't hear enough on this show, and I really wish I did more.
Mace.
Yeah.
Mace, man, he he's the reason why like between him and Warren G, like there's a cadence, and not even a cadence, it's something that they do with their voice. I think it's really cool. Like they soften their voice up, like Warren G's like, if I had wings I would fly, like I love that, like cause it's like you can be as tough as you want to on the microphone, and then when you have that kind of cadence, you relate to a lot of people who don't,
who aren't that way all the time.
But
there's still like that ability to show the other side of like humanism, even to like be able to like be like, hey, I am tough, I'm out here doing my business, but I have love in my heart. I have like this attachment to music in this way, and I love all realms of it.
And man, like, and then I just kind of went like, LimeWire kind of came out and kind of just prevented me from doing that. But I really got into this rapper named Consequence at a young age. And Consequence used to be in A Tribe Called Quest, and he ended up rapping with Kanye West and the Good Music. And I just never heard nobody rap like he. I think it was a song called Good, Bad, Ugly. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And I ain't never heard nobody flip crazy bars like that. And I was like, man, I was like telling my friends, like, listen to how you doing it. And I always wanted to be like between him, Consequence, Mace, and of course like early Kanye. I just it was like rap for me. It was like I kind of got away from gangster rap because I was just kind of like having these thoughts of like, I don't, gangs it brought nothing but bad news to my neighborhood and to my family. So I didn't want to listen to that kind of music anymore. And so I thought like Kanye was really funny. Consequence rapped about like just life, like quitting your job and things like that, getting fired and stuff like that. So I'm like, man, this is stuff that, like getting girls and, like having haters. You can rap about that stuff without being, without wanting to hurt somebody, you know, and also, keep your manhood, like that. So I think, so between, C Murder, Mace, and then I moved on to downloading music.
Yeah, and from there it's a landslide.
Sure. Burning CDs and also
allegedly,
and then burning, dubbing off the radio like cassette tapes, and like my older brother, I appreciate him because there was a time like in high school my mom didn't have cable, but he'll come by and drop me off a bunch of cassette tapes of music videos that he recorded. And so I just watched the same music videos, like, just like you watch. Yeah. So I just watched the same rap videos, and like I started to, really got into Andre 3000 because we loved Outkast, from like Southern Playalistic, Players Ball and stuff like that. And
well, it sounds like you were exposed to a pretty like good and wide palette of music.
Oh yeah.
Just like by who was around you, like, like a lot of the names you mentioned, yes, they have been present for a while, but like I feel like you were probably getting shown a lot of cool stuff from a lot of different people all the time.
All the time. My mom was like, she was big into like the singing groups like Temptations, Shy Lights. So she like Tavares taught me a lot about like the funk artists, Zapp and Roger. Like my dad,
I love Zapp and Roger.
Yeah, my dad played music around, but he I didn't grow up with my dad so much, and so like when I was around him, ironically, my dad listened to like punk rock. Like my dad listened to a lot of punk and some alternative like pop stuff, like he was just like listening to anything. And so I do like songs I hear. I remember watching that Scott Pilgrim movie against the, and I remember like being like, oh, these songs remind me of like hanging out with my dad. That's funny because he's like, he listened to this kind of stuff. And my oldest sister, like I said, I'm the youngest of 5. And so like when you're young, you gotta listen to what your siblings are listening to. Yep. You ain't got no say so. Because everything you want to listen to is stupid to them.
Yeah,
so
I get that.
My oldest sister listened to like, she loved her pop bands like New Kids on the Block and all that. But watching MTV with her all the time, she watched like Kenny Loggins videos, Prince. So I have a lot. I got some stuff that can really be in the 80s movie, or early 90s or something like that. And yeah, just kind of, like when I finally got into my own music, it kind of went with my mind's idea of how I wanted to dress, because I didn't know that was affecting me, but also there's like cool music like Usher and stuff like that. I think I definitely bought an Usher CD. I think I paid for that. I paid for that when I was in high school because I was like, man, shoot, all the girls are talking about Usher. Like if I say I got this CD, I'll let you look at the book. You're like, oh
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for going down that road with us. And actually, could I have you scoot forward just the tiniest bit?
Yeah.
Do you make sure everybody can see you good? Perfect. For this next one, what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? That was like specifically one you wanted to go to. So like you saw it was happening, you got the tickets, you went to it.
Well, one of the first ones that I really was, so Nike, I was a custodian at Nike for a little while. That's when I made a lot of cool connections there. But Nike had put on a show. It was a group called Brooklyn. It was like a mashup. It was like a little mashup, and they had brought out Ghostface Killah. And I was just there, and I was just there for Ghostface Killah because I was like, man, come on, like Ghostface is like one of my favorite storytellers, and like he'll put you in the story, like you're seeing the whole thing, and his voice is really real cool and unique. I love Ghostface Killah, man. His beat choices and stuff. So me and my cousin Alex, we did whatever we could to go to that show. We did. We sure did. I remember like funny story to that day of that show was like Obama was like running. He was about to start running for president.
Oh, dang.
And he was here. He came to Portland to, do his little speech. And these folks is like passing out little flyers like, hey, come hear Barack Obama speak. And we're like, this is the same time as Ghostface Killah. And we were like, I was like, we is not finna see this dude. And my cousin was like, yeah, is he better than Ghostface Killah? Probably not. I was like, definitely not. And my cousin bought up their little flyer, and they chased us. And they chased us all around. And I remember like, we got away, and the day of the show was the next morning, and my cousin was to pick up the tickets downtown. And I'm eating breakfast with my mom, and he's calling me nonstop. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what's going on? He's like, John, the Obama people are chasing me again. he's like, and I dropped the tickets. And I was like, what?
No.
But he found them and we went. But I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what was they gonna do when they caught us?
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah, but the Ghostface Killer, that was a great show. I got to meet him, and my cousin's like, he make beats, and so I had a CD and I was gonna give it to them. I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, because his, not Ghostface Killer, but like his people that was with him were like, well, give us a CD and we'll see if we like it or not. I'm like, I don't think that's I ain't got no manager, but I don't think that's how it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ghostface Killer, that was like the first, and I didn't really go to another concert until I saw John Legend.
Okay.
But I got those. He got me those tickets. He got me tickets, and I was going to take my mom, but she needed yeah,
and you can't fly when you buy stuff.
Yeah. So my mom didn't go. So, but yeah, I saw John Legend. That was probably one of the best.
That's wild.
That was a great concert.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Now let's go ahead. Let's get into the present day. We are, however, going to knock out a super easy one first, and you already kind of touched on it before, so I imagine we'll just kind of sum it up here. How'd you pick the name?
Well, okay, so the name, like I mentioned, I used to draw these cartoon characters of myself, and I remember I had 4 that I was kind of just sitting on. I had Baby Johnny, which was like, I don't know about how to tell that story.
Yeah.
It was just me as a baby, grown mind, walking around here. The other idea was Super Johnny, and then I had Boss Johnny, which was like this exec who was like a Bruce Wayne kind of guy. And then I had Jonny Cool, which was like, I had me with a pompadour and leather jacket, and he was like a time traveler, and it's like this guy goody two shoe, but his good morals and standards kind of set a trend, and everybody was trying to be like him. Like I want to be like that guy. He's so cool, And I kind of kept drawing Jonny Cool. I kept on drawing because it was just so easy to draw that pompadour, and I got it to where I can just draw that in like 10 seconds or less. Like just draw his face. And I was like, I want that pompadour. I want that hairstyle too. I want that leather jacket. And there was a time where I was back at working at Nike, and music was kind of taking off. And I met this guy named, I'm always saying his last name wrong, but I think it's pronounced Duvachel, Eric Duvachel. And Eric worked at Nike, and I met him, somebody told me I had to go to his office to bring my music gear there, and I brought my embarrassing laptop with the kickstand. So I brought my old laptop to his office, and he was like, yeah, just do whatever you want. Start making beats. So I started cutting up a beat, and I'm making a beat, and I'm freestyling. Because once I got the drums down and my little bass line, I was like, I'm rapping to this. Like, I don't even know what he does. Yeah. And turns out he used to work for Rockefeller Records.
Oh, dang.
He also does like great media work. And he also did the artwork for The College Dropout.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, that was his concept. That was his whole thing. And I had no idea. So we established a cool relationship. Talked about working on an album that I was supposed to be working on back then. Never really I didn't have my voice back then.
Yeah.
And so we stayed close. He was like, so what is your art name? And I was like, just my name, just my birth name. And he's like, no, we gotta figure out something. And because growing up, everybody just called me by my initials, JS. Yeah. So I was like, well, Johnny Sanders. He's like, no. So he goes like, do you have any characters you do or anything? I was like, well, there's this guy named Jonny Cool, and I tell him about the whole backdrop of Jonny Cool, his whole story. And he goes, that's you. You're Jonny Cool. You're Jonny Cool. You got to be that. And I was like, that is cool. I will do that. So it was about 2009 or ish or so. And so, and I was already like a sci-fi buff. So I kind of like, I thought I made up the name Stargazer, not knowing that that's actually like a long part of my lineage, like long part of my dad's old tribe. And so I was like, wow, it's like Jonny Cool Stargazer. That was my whole thing, was like I'm gonna be this retro guy, but then the Stargazer is like the future side, So I, and then Jupiter Black came along a little later as the alter ego. Just dream traveling. I lucid dream so deep. So wherever I go in this world I go to, I'm known as Son of Jupiter there, and since middle school really. So I never really told nobody until I got older. I was like, well, I've always had the name Jupiter in my dream world and a connection to that planet, although that's not in my zodiac or whatever. But so Jonny Cool, came about from Eric Doobie, and Stargazer came about from my dad's tribe from Alexandria. Used to be called the city of Stargazer.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of old. I love.
Yeah, you got layers for sure.
Yeah. A lot of esoteric like things that about my names, and Johnny means gift from God. It's a little short phrase for that.
Oh damn. Well, I appreciate the thoroughness. It's cool. I appreciate when people take the time to like get to know why their name is their name, or like has a like reason for doing so. They're not just like, I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But now I want to go ahead and talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning.
Okay.
So when you get inspired, you're ready to make a track. What do you do to get something started? What does the beginning look like for you? Well,
the beginning, it can start in many ways. So one way, like as of recently, I focus on just putting the beat on repeat, because I'm so excited about it, and I start to hum out the rhythm, and the rhythm is already like given to me, because like it's kind of like you're a guitarist and you hear a cool song and you're like, you can do slow, nice drums, or you can do some rhythm plucks, and so my mind comes to be like, well, what is the speed of it? Like I have to teach myself how to rap a little faster or sing a little better. And sometimes I know when this song ain't for me, I'm like, this is a nice song, but this song go to somebody else.
Yeah,
I'll help write it out. But to me, it's like I close my eyes and start to see. If I could see myself saying it, if I can see I start to hear my voice more and more. Like right now I'm working on a song called Jealous. I'm thinking we'll just call it Jelly. And started with just like this old soul loop, and I kept the vocal sample in there, him saying like jealous. And so I'm like, whoa, like there's so much potential there. Like I could just really rap around it, or I can really let the sample be the song and join forces with the song. So I kind of imagine how people would move to the song, and I imagine just the mood. Yeah. And that kind of sets the tone of like what I want to say. Because before I start saying vocals or anything like that, or just like lyrics, I freestyle a lot. And sometimes I'm freestyling, I'm like, well, you've been rapping for like 20 minutes and ain't got nothing yet. But I do like that little melody you did. That's cool. But sometimes it take like one little solid cool little line, and that turns into the whole verse.
Everything stems from that one spot.
Yeah, and like even writing like there's like I call it captain's log, and it's just me free writing. Like I just memorize it though. So I can go to a captain's log that I have, and I go, you know what? Take that line out of there, because that's cool. I can borrow my lines from the captain's log, and I usually don't record those in songs.
Yeah.
I sometimes say them, in between show sets, but that helps me to like kick the gear into writing like one solid line. Like even what was it? I have a song called Special Girl, right? Special Girl was like one of those songs where like I didn't have the verse at all, and I went to the studio, and the only thing that I had from that song was like Diana Ross and Marvin Gaye say, ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. But I was like, I don't know if I wanted to end the song like that or say that somewhere in between, but I'm like, that's the ending, and I had to kind of write the verse
Yeah, you had to almost write it backwards.
Write it backwards.
To make sure it ended up there.
Yeah, and then I had the idea of like writing a song about my girlfriend being a ghost, just looking for a host. Like she takes on bodies, you know, because she's like,
oh, like the movie Ghost.
Yeah, she's looking for me, you know, she's looking for me, and like I'm like, hey, for some reason, you know, you look familiar, you seem familiar, but I had that idea, and so I took that concept and kind of started the first part of that song. So I'm like, oh hi missus, mighty fly missus, butterfly kisses when you're close. And then from there I was supposed to be like, oh hi, you know, and then something, and I didn't know that you were a ghost. So then I just switched it and was like, oh bye missus, don't you cry missus, astronaut crush when you're far. And I was like, so I kept on writing it, and I was in my Andre 3000 bag, so I kind of wanted to be more poetic and like conversational about it, like just kind of talk it. So yeah, so sometimes, you know, like I haven't really got into a bad writer's block lately. I've been kind of flowing, so like
that's always a good. I love when you're on that streak and you're like, I keep making stuff.
Stuff, and I'm excited because I'm you know, like, I don't know if it's going to be a question you're going to be asking me later, but I am finally working on my real album.
Okay.
I'm finally working on it. So I'm doing a lot of writing lately, and
hell yeah,
that's singing, and that's whatever my voice is going to do next. But so far it's just been like easier to talk, because for sometimes you hear people rap and it's like, what else is there to say?
Yeah.
What else is there to talk about? He just said every word in the world. But then there's things that people do need to hear right now. You know, a lot of it is to chill out and calm down.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody could benefit from that every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just little reminders, you know, and you know, if you could listen to me talk to you, you could definitely listen to my album. And you know, and I've been you know, blessed to speak an angel language, which is like the music of all these different genres, you know, and colors that can get to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's my process, is really just closing my eyes, a lot of improv, a lot of freestyle, letting that beat loop, bike rides. Oh man, them Nike bikes. I be riding them Nike bikes all around the city, because you know, and then my headphones, and people be like, I saw you, but you didn't hear me. It's like, because I got my headphones on blast. I'm like listening. I'm taking the beat for a walk. You know, taking new tracks for us.
For a spin. Yeah.
For a spin, really, to see a city, and it ain't no better way. Like I wrote a song called Portland Zoo. I wrote that on the bike. You know, flying. All I had was the organ. Just on loop, just the do for like 2 months. I moved back to Portland, you know, from New York, and I was sitting here just rolling around on that bike, listening to the same chords. And then finally, I was like Northwest 23rd, and I was like, I was like a crazy guy. I was just in Southeast Portland. Now I'm in Northwest Portland, and I was like, Northwest side, west side of Portland, northeast side, and then I was like, oh, that's tight. Like, so I just was like, man, keep that, and so that turned into Portland Zoo. So it's always just going to be something like improv, and as long as I am not afraid to speak and get that idea out. But
it sounds like you always leave the door open. You're like, I'm gonna let creativity happen in any moment. Any moment is an opportunity for like everything I do is the potential for a moment of creativity, and when it happens, it's going to get acknowledged.
Yeah, you know, because you got to take yourself very serious. Like if you see like a kid who plays basketball, they're dribbling the ball up and down the street. You know, even just walking to the store. You know, practicing their moves or whatever they're going to do. And it's like, I like to hear people sing out loud and practice their craft or do whatever they're going to do. It's like, we live in the city. Like you can't let the city dictate when you start being creative. That's you all the time. You can't say, well, in the nighttime I'm the artist, and in the daytime I'm the pizza man. It's like, no, you're a pizza man artist. Like you're supposed to do that all the time. Like,
you're an artist who does pizza stuff.
I'd rather get written up or yelled at or fussed at for stopping to do something, you know, creative than to not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, there are a million jobs, but creativity doesn't like at some point it's going to stop, or it may stop and not come back for a while.
Yeah.
If you don't tend to that garden when it's growing, you got to plant a whole new one at some point. That takes 10 times as long.
And this is coming from an unknown source, that we can't see. It's like, I ain't gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to the. I don't know if this is coming from a star. I don't know if this is coming from an ancestor, God, an angel, whatever it is, whatever I can call it, the cosmos. I got to do it, and so
you were just the conduit. It needs to get out.
Yeah, and, you know, so like it's like ain't nothing in this world impressive enough for me to stop being creative. Ain't nothing.
I love that. And actually that segues well. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about some of your music.
So
I jumped on ye old Spotify, and you got a pretty good amount of music on there going all the way back to 2017. So you got a catalog. We're coming up on almost a decade there.
Yeah. Well,
and from the very first song, you just crushing it. Like Play Around, Special Girl, Quit Your Job. They're all strong tracks. They all have this personality, this energy to them that just like, as soon as I always start at the beginning. I love hearing people's musical journey from the start. So for those to be the first 3 songs to go through, I was just like, oh, there's no limits to what's going to happen from here. And then, you know, after that, it goes to your seasonally themed instrumental tetralogy. That's a word I had to learn today to call it.
Oh, wow.
But that's
tetralogy.
Yeah. I didn't know there was anything past a trilogy. Fun fact, it's a tetralogy.
Wow.
Yeah. So that, you know, you have your 4 albums there, which are all named after every season of the calendar year. And it was cool to hear. It was crazy to see such a big body of work, first of all, but it was really cool to hear. There was a lot of texture. There was a lot of like, you have this interesting array of sounds. There's a lot of like soft sounds, high energy sounds, organic sounds, synthesized sounds. Like there was almost no limit to like the realm that your music has. But I am curious, because before we get into more of your more present work, what inspired that like collection of like beat albums? Like what made you want to do that project in particular?
Well, that got inspired from, I want to say, MF Doom. MF Doom's, I think it's like his herbs and spices kind of beat tape.
I gotcha.
And I remember listening to that and realizing like it's okay for me to just put out beats, because I mean I've listened to Jay Dilla's stuff, you know, but I wasn't really like, oh yeah, Jay Dilla's beat tapes. I'm thinking like that's like a tribute because he passed away, you know, like I didn't really know much about how that goes. And because I'd have to make my own like mixtapes of people's instrumentals, and I'll download a whole bunch of DJ Premier beats and just listen to them, you know. But now I was like, I want to say like maybe 2015, I was just going to come out with a beat tape. I was going to call it like Hometown Foreigner or something like that, or like I forgot what else it's going to be called. And it was just a beat tape. And I did put it out, but I put it out like through CD Baby, and it was like some kind of like Reverb Nation kind of thing. And it was cool to be able to show people and get excited about that. And I just thought like, well, a little bit, maybe like a year and a half later, I just got better. I got better at hearing what I want, and also getting the levels on my beats right. So I ended up moving to New York in 2017, and that was to work with Rakim, Rakim, and I just remember like knocking out tons of beats while we're waiting for him to get back. I was waiting for him to get back to New York because he was on tour. So I was like, well, when he gets back, he gonna be so surprised of all these beats that I made. He gonna have to dig off through them, you know. And so I just kept cooking. In the first 5 days, and there I think I made like 20, maybe almost 20 beats.
Oh, dang!
Because I just got straight to cooking, you know. I just had like a crazy accident in 2016, a year before that, and where like my whole jaw and everything was like so messed up because like,
oh no,
and my teeth got, front teeth got knocked out and stuff like that. And so I just was like, just in cooking mode. And I was like, I went to the dentist right before the airport, and they're still pulling out like the broken pieces of teeth. And so I was just like in pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, New York, and my face is all covered up. And I'm just like, went there straight cooking in this little apartment room and sleeping on the floor, and that made me go like, you know what? Like Stevie Wonder, I love how he talks about seasons. He has a lot of his lyrics are about like comparing like love and life throughout the seasons and change and embracing change.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized like, wait, all these beats that I made in the fall kind of have this thing about them.
Mm-hmm.
And each beat that I made, each beat for each season, like I didn't make any winter beats in the summer.
Yeah.
Like all those beats were made in within that season or a season like prior. Like there's some beats in there that are kind of old, but all the other beats, I made all those in maybe like 2 or 3 months. I made all 48 beats. Maybe like there was a lot that didn't go on that beat tape. I was just knocking them out, and I'm like, well, these kind of sound similar, and there's some that I thought I wanted to put on there, and I was like, well, because I am actually working on the Lost season, the Jonny season beat tape. The beats are gonna be a little bit longer, and so yeah, y'all, they're gonna be more than a minute long, so chill out. And but that made me just kind of, and also I think I had a conversation with some guy. He's like, yeah, instrumental albums are like books for people who like music, and like, but not everybody's reading books. And not everybody's listening to instrumental albums, but it takes an acquired taste, an acquired mind. Mm-hmm. If you like to let music take you on a little journey and let the instruments talk, then those are for you. Sometimes people go, like I had a cousin, she's like, ain't no words. There's no words to these. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be. Yeah,
I did that on purpose.
And so like, and some people don't like to be alone with their own thoughts. They can't be in a quiet room without saying something. Mm-hmm. It's like sitting with silence. It's like it takes I can't even say strong mind. It just takes a certain kind of mind.
Yeah.
But it's just like it takes a certain kind of mind to really enjoy instrumentals, and I can listen to those more than I listen to a lot of jazz and bossa nova, and I listen to a lot of George Duke, and there's not too much hip hop I listen to because I'm like, they're saying the same stuff, or I like what Kendrick Lamar is doing. He says a lot of things really fast. It makes me, I hear that stuff before, but it's also really cool to hear. Yeah. But I feel like that beat tape was really inspiring to let people who do listen to beats, listen to my variety, and know that like those are my last beats I've ever made on Fruity Loops. Mm-hmm. That was like my goodbye to FL Studio.
What do you use now?
I use Machine. I use Machine too, and like and a lot of native instrument sounds. Yeah. And
what do you have a DAW that you use, or do you just use exclusively like Machine standalone?
Yeah, I use Machine. I use they have a DAW. It's like Machine too.
Yeah, well, I know there's the software for it, and some people I know open it like in something else. I was just curious. So you just work in Machine as a standalone software? Yep. Wild, that's cool.
And I still use Adobe Audition to chop up my samples because I get them so clean. Mm-hmm. Like, my pet peeve is like hearing the little clicks in it.
Yeah.
If it's not supposed to be there, it shouldn't be there. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to hear a sloppy loop. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like seamless. It should be seamless. I could spend like 30 minutes to an hour, doing all that I can to make sure that loops. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, like you didn't do it. Because like I should be able to drop my drums and hear that.
Yeah,
pure,
everything's clean.
Perfect. So I use Audition for that because you can zoom in, you can fade them out, you can fade out the tips of your samples, your loops, and whenever I do decide to sample, so I'm like, so I use those two, and sometimes I go back to, I have an old laptop that got my FL Studio on there, but I don't make beats on there. I just kind of pull
the ideas from it.
Because I'm like, there's so much music on that thing that it's that, you know, is wild, you know.
You could never make anything on that again, and you'd probably keep pulling stuff from it for a long time.
I literally just like, I pulled some drums that I did that I really liked on a song, and then I also pulled some sample chops, and I reorganized the way I sampled it, and I ended up performing the song within the next like show I did. I was like, you know what, this is hard. I just ended up using an old verse that I had in my head, and I was like, this it has to happen. Like, even if I write something new, but for right now, this is perfect. You know, like, yeah. And I had some guy online was like, oh, I really want that beat, and once I told him it was for sale, and I ain't hearing from him no more.
How that goes. And actually, that segues well. I am curious now, out of all the music you have available, because you've got a broad variety of music. You got kind of a really, really interesting and wide sound. But out of everything you have available, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
Some of my favorite, I love to perform. I have a song called UFO. And I like to perform that one because like the way that I sing it and the way that I have like the background tracks in there, background singing tracks, because I don't need no for my raps, but like it allows me to see the dynamic of like where I can take the audience, because it starts out like beautiful ballad poetry, and then these strings come in, the big old choir voice come in, and then it drops into a cool, funky kind of hip hop joint. And I just love to see people's reaction to that. And I, based on my energy and how I want to bring it, because I performed that with low energy before, and I also performed it with high energy, and saw the difference of like, wow, I really like this song. I like it a lot. I still listen to it. It's just in my playlist, and it's one of them songs like, it got inspired by the Shy Lights. It was the kind of the thing where I'm like thinking about my mom and thinking about like, I went through a bunch of songs that maybe she had told me about. I was like, oh, the Shy Lights, so I learned the chords and replayed it. And I feel like that's one of my favorites, just because it come from a soul group. It come from, I Kept the Concept. Have you seen her? And it's just fun to me. And there's also, I like Warp Speed, because it's like, I haven't performed it with a live band just yet, but that's going to come, and that's going to be tight, because we got to make that song longer. So I like Warp Speed because it's a different type of song performed. Like, I'd like to see it. Like, if I wasn't me, I'd like to hear it. It'd be cool to see somebody do a hip hop set, and then all of a sudden they have Warp Speed in there. It's like, whoa, that's cool, man. Like, you're singing, the tone, and man, like, yeah, I like those. I like those too. And there's some songs that I'm working on right now that I can't wait to perform, just because I already know, like, I perform them in my room at home, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be nice, because like, especially like, I don't know, there's something about just having a substance in your lyrics, but also being a little lighthearted and fun about them. Yeah, I think it's a real cool thing to do.
It's a good duality too, like when you can find the way to balance that, where people are like, I can resonate with this, but also like, I want to have fun.
Like, I got a song called That Bounce, and it's my first song I'm gonna put out about butts. And
good topic.
Yeah. And and it's fun to me. It's funny to me because it's like, it has a different, it's not a typical club song. The way that it's produced, it has this like big festival kind of, I don't even know how to describe. Honestly, I'm glad I don't know how to describe it, because it's such a strange song to me.
It's so individual and unique to itself.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Definitely curious to see what that sounds like when it comes out.
Yeah, and then I made the 808s just right, and I added these like little boing boing, like little sounds. And I'm gonna just tell you, like, the chorus is funny because it's like that bounce enough to break the couch. That bounce enough to shake the house. So it's fun. It's fun to me. And I think that's going to be fun to perform. I performed it. I did a show at a Lot of Wood pizza restaurant in Southeast Portland. I had a show there for 420, and I did it. And I was like, I'm gonna just throw it in here because I didn't know. I thought I wasn't sure of the turnout or whatever the case was, and got a lot of good feedback from that one. I was like, oh yeah, I'm adding that to the thing. And I haven't recorded that song yet, but it's a song like I'm ready to record it because I performed it maybe twice. I rap it a lot. I listen to it on my way to work and just at home, and I'm always tweaking with it. And there's some things I want to do to the vocals, but I can't wait to just have like it recorded and just to see what it does, just to see, just to have it out of my mind and onto, the masses. So,
oh yeah,
that bounce.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard.
Now we're going a little long in the tooth here, so I don't want to get rid of any of the next questions coming up. So we may forego the hypothetical questions. Okay. But I have a few more I want to dig in with you more in the present. First, I want to zoom out for a second. Before we talk about more of like some of the other big things you have and do, what are you listening to right now? What are you just taking in as a consumer?
Right now, and I'll show you my Spotify rap. I just listen to a few artists right now. That's George Duke, and he has so much work. I just found an album I never even heard he put out called Reach Out. I'm listening to this album nonstop now. George Duke. I listen to Bobby Humphrey. He's a flutist. And Johnny Hammond. He's also a flutist. He's really good. And it's more than just soulful. It's a jazz notes and textures, and it reminds me of that painting behind you. It's just like the textures, the layers, and some parts you like and some parts you don't. But like then you learn why it's in there. I'm learning so much about music listening to these folks, and George Duke is one of my all-time favorites because my album is going to be like one of his, having this broad band of genres within your own album. Like listening to George Duke's Guardian of Light album, there's songs that it sounds like a movie soundtrack. There's these fast 80s pop songs, and then it ends with this like sci-fi symphony laser fight out of nowhere, and then there's this like funk song, and then there's like a slow, beautiful ballad, and it's just like, man, this is full and cool. And I hope that my album, Coolest of All Time, feels like that. It makes people takes people on a journey where they're just like, none of these songs are the same, and maybe I don't have maybe that bounce is the only club song that you can play at a dance party or something like that. That's not my. That ain't my job. My job is just to,
make cool music.
The apple tree ain't worried about if it's finna be applesauce or apple juice or cider. It's just dropping the apples.
Yeah.
So that's all I can do is just drop the songs. But George Duke is probably my number one right now. And for a little music ear candy, I do like to listen to I like NERD. I like Pharrell's group NERD, and Janelle Monáe. She has great production. She picks out great beats.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, she's a writing genius. I like FKA Twigs. And I don't really, I don't listen to a lot of rap.
That's all right. That's all right. Are you familiar with a group by the name of Japanese Breakfast?
No.
You should check them out.
Japanese
album named Jubilee. I'll leave it here for you. So you.
For sure. Okay.
Phenomenal album. I won't tell you too. I like to let people find out, and then I hear about it after. Give it a listen. Let me know what you think.
I will. Because man, that's cool. I like like especially albums that are just kind of, you know, they feel full. Like I understand when people have projects, it's like a playlist of cool songs, and that's cool. Like everybody got their own way to drop their fruit. You can't tell an orange tree that, hey, maybe you should drop a purple one.
Yeah.
Or a not so sweet fruit, you know. So it's kind of like everybody has to do what they have to do. But I know, like, when it comes to what I take in as far as inspiration, like, it's a lot of it is like, oh, Gino Vanelli. Do you know about that guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Like, Gino Vanelli is like he'll have like 7 change ups in the song, you know, it's just like bizarre. So that's kind of feel.
You're a Native Instruments fan. Do you know of a gentleman by the name of Chuck Sutton?
That name sounds very familiar, actually.
He has a song called Rosetta. Phenomenal. But the album that song's on, I'm blanking on the name. I hope it's not Rosetta, or I'm gonna feel real silly after. But check him out. I think he was like a Native Instruments ambassador for a little bit because of his technique, but his production through the roof, incredible. Dang. But his music, like the actual like effort that goes into it, it's very articulate, very textured, very just like, you can tell he thought about every little instance of music as if it were like a drop of water, and every song, that cup is filled perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautifully said. Yeah. That's kind of feel like, that's why I listen to like NERD and these guys, because I feel like when you have such a care about your production and you're not like, yeah, this is the dance song, and then this is the I Scare You song, and then this is the love song. It's like, no, like, man, like, these songs come together. Oh, you know, Tyler, the Creator, I don't listen to a lot of his music, but he has, from what I hear from his music, and he has great production.
Oh, phenomenal. And his care for each, like, he makes each, because Kendrick kind of does this too. Each album is like an era of his music, a style, like a time. It's like a timestamp of him, but also within it is a realm. It's a perspective. Yeah. Tyler does it very thematically. Like, you know, he had like every album has a different outfit, a different look, a different feel, and then live, he does a good job of distinguishing them by that outfit. Like, I watched a couple years back, I saw him headline Lollapalooza. Hulu streamed it. And I stopped what I was doing. Like, I was supposed to be at somebody's house. I was like, hey, do you have Hulu? I'm going to go sit in your living room for an hour and a half. And the performance makes his music so different. Not like, I mean, phenomenal performer. First of all, this man is a genuine one-man act.
Yeah.
But when you watch him perform the music becomes different. So for him to be able to like take that and like make, you know, kind of how you see, like, I wonder if he sees sound, because his visionary aspects, the visual aspects that he attaches to not just any individual song, but like the realm that it comes from.
Yeah.
Next level. There are not people regularly doing it the way he does, because he has created not only different realms, but the through lines for him, the way that everything goes together, like the outfits matching the art, matching the music, matching like it's phenomenal. His Chromacopia tour right now is blowing my mind.
Wow. See, I just had a conversation with a guy the other day about my album, and I was telling him like, well, like, each track has a color palette, you know, kind of like it just has its own. It has its own said, outfit. Like, it has, you know, you can hear. I could play you 4 songs from there, and you would ask me who's the producer. Like, you're like, oh, who did this one?
Yeah.
Or me, who did this one? Because this one doesn't sound nothing like that one. Yeah. It's like, but it's like, it's still me. And you know, the fun part about having an album that you're working on is that, like, you get a chance to be so different from everybody else. You can say, oh, that's what they're doing. Go this way. And when you know music, and that's the important part I try to convey to rappers, is like, know what you're doing so much that, like, if you say, hey, I'm going to drop a song about my money being in a rubber band, and somebody else drops a song about that, and then you have a chance to go, well, I'm a creative writer. I don't need that song.
Yeah.
I don't need that song. I can say it in a different way or things like that. You're able to pivot and improv versus like, cause that's the last thing I want. I want people to, maybe they can say, hey, this feels like Stevie Wonder. This feels like Pharrell. This feels like the way that the change up is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want them to say, hey, this song sounds like this song.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, we're in a world where music is becoming like sports, where everybody wants you to be like the next Michael Jackson, the next, is he the next Quincy Jones, or is he the next it's like, no, like everybody like we get in trouble doing that stuff like that. It's like the weirdest thing that we do as consumers, listeners. It's kind of like, well, he's a rapper from the South, but who do you think is better out of him and Scarface? It's kind of like, we don't need those debates anymore. Like
I've never been a big fan of the like music competitiveness, like there has to be a GOAT. You know what I mean? There has to be this is the ultimate this or that, because like music is so subjective. Music is so, my opinion of a song will change every day. Mm-hmm. So for me to be like, this is the best this or the greatest that, it's not fair. But then to pit music against other music, so like competitions and and don't get me wrong, some of them skate the line of just like, it's fun. Like there was a guy who recently did one, I'm blanking on his name, I apologize, but he did like a beat competition where he was just like, send in beats, I'm gonna play all of them on the live stream, and I'm just gonna pick one I dig the most, and I'm gonna give him an MPC one. And that's it. Like, and that's fun because it's not like this is better than this versus this or this versus that. It's just one guy, he's gonna pick one he likes.
He likes the most.
But like when you pit people against it, and like the award ceremonies of it all, and don't get me wrong, those have their places and they're appreciated. But there's so much music now. There's so many things happening that it just, rather than us being like, let's see who is better, let's just find stuff that we like. Because
there's so much into why people don't like a music artist and why they do. They go, well, his personal life, he has 14 girlfriends and I can't listen to his music. Or, hey, he this is that. So it's like, there's so many reasons why, but I feel like me, I'm just like, I like to keep to myself when it comes to like my certain projects. Like I let my favorite, people here in town hear some beats and hear some songs, and they may, see me perform it. That's the most you'll see what's going to be on my project, and if I'm performing it, most likely I like the song a lot, like I'd rather, I'll perform for 8 minutes if I only wanted to do 2 songs and that's it. Like if that's the case, but I do, I love where we're at with music. I just don't like where, like you said, the competitive part. If you're gonna do a rap battle, if you want to, battle of the bands, that's kind of different. But you know that you get into that. But don't volunteer me into comparing me to somebody because we're from the same city, or like I got music awards, but they're not like they're not because somebody else isn't good.
No, and actually that segues well. There was something I did want to ask you about, and I'm sure you've told other people about this, so you can go into it as depth as much as you would like. But you are a part of a track that has reached a platinum status, and that is incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's DFMU, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was by, is it LMI? LMA, and it just, it's a phenomenal track. So I would love to know, you can share as much as you'd like, but how did that collaboration come to be? What was your role in it? And then just what does it feel like being a part of something that's reached that status?
Well, I'll tell you, it started back in 2016, believe it or not.
Okay, so that was even before like all your beat tape stuff and all your music was out.
Yeah, it was, I felt like it was the worst year of my life at the time. And I was like, I just had that crazy accident, and my mom went back to the stars, and so I was just kind of like, I was working at a Vernon Elementary School. Oof. I was working in there, and I believe the time I was working there at the summer school, and I was teaching doing science and like a music class, and I got a call, earlier in the year, I got a call from my buddy, Tyus, who was like, he was working on getting signed to these major labels. And
I forgot to say that earlier too. So rad that you've worked with Tyus.
Yeah.
His music has come across my experience regularly. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa,
man,
what a world.
He's a genius.
Oh yeah.
Tyus is a genius. And, so I've known him since, he was maybe 16 or so. He's always been a genius to me. And a mutual person that we knew, he became our manager, was he's like, well, he needs 50 songs and you're the only person we know who has hundreds of beats that can spare some and still have songs, know. And I was like, I do. And I was like, so Ty liked me more for my 90s style. I have a folders full of 90s boom bap R&B, dark R&B stuff, and that's what he was wanting to get into. And I just remember we're like, okay, we're gonna go to the studio, you have a studio session with Ty, just meet at, this house and show him some beats. But before Ty had a request, he was like, you got anything that got like a Timberland kind of bounce, like a Leah kind of bounce, something around that line. And so I made that beat on my lunch break when I was at the school, working at the school. So I was like, okay, I procrastinated. I waited until the day of the studio session. So I was like, I'll make this on my lunch break. I got it. So I started this cool little, few loops, and turned out to be a song called Shapes and Sizes. And Shapes and Sizes got, put on the project last minute too. I was like, I made it to his EP, track number 4, I'll never forget. And, but Ty and I, we worked close on a lot of stuff that never got launched. And so, years later, I didn't really expect much from that song. I didn't get a payout or anything like that. Yeah. So, cause I was like, man, I live with Ty, lived in his house. When I didn't, I didn't have a place to go. Yeah. Also, I lived with him in LA for a little bit too. When the song was doing really good. So fast forward 2022, one of my old managers was blowing me up on Instagram and calling me. I was like, what is he calling me for? I ain't talked to him for years. What's going on? And so he's like, call me back, man. He's like, got some really big news. And so pretty much DJ Mustard and LMA, well, DJ Mustard produced the track, but he sampled Shapes and Sizes. Whoa. So Tyus wrote, and a buddy of ours named Damon Landrum wrote on that song, Shapes and Sizes. So and we're underneath Portland Kid Publishing. So we all got credited as writers.
Oh damn!
On the track, it took a minute to negotiate the percentages of what we would get. Yeah, and it went from just wow, your song got sampled by DJ Mustard to maybe that summer, because this was January 2022, a few days after my birthday. So I was like, hey, what a birthday gift,
Which, I mean, just getting sampled by DJ Mustard is already pretty huge, you know what I mean?
Huge.
It's not something where you're like, all right, I guess that's cool. I would have been losing it.
So that was the celebration. I was like, that's it. This is it. And then by the summer, it was the song is number 1 on the R&B Billboard charts, And so we're eligible for a Billboard award as well. And so I was like, that's crazy. I was like, wow. And then, that was it. We started getting little royalty checks because streaming ain't gonna give you no dough. Yeah. But we started getting royalties from that and started to see that, and that made it more real. Oh, this is cool. I get ongoing royalties, from this, and I thought that was just it. So 2023. Certified gold, literally a year later, we're like, yeah, it went gold, and it took a while for me to get our records, to get our gold plaques.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get them put together.
Yeah, and then literally just this past February, certified platinum.
Damn.
And ended up getting our plaques a lot faster.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I've never met LMA and I never met DJ Mustard yet. I say yet because like once I meet them, they're gonna want to see my library. They want to see what I have, because I'm like, if you like shapes and sizes, bro, I made that on my lunch break. Like you can just imagine like what's gonna happen. Like if you ever sat down, if I say, hey, sit down with LMA for an hour or 30 minutes, you can show her whatever beat you want to. She'll say, I might pick one beat. She's going to leave it in a little EP. She's going to leave it a little project, because of the variety, like I like Mustard's music. I think as far as I've heard his music is mainly hip hop and R&B. Like I never heard a pop record from him or a rock record or a jazz record or live funk, anything like that. So like I have those elements, and I love to, like I think I reached out to him. I didn't know I was so eager. I reached out to him and his record, that label 10 Deep. I sent them like a long email, just short and not even a long email, just short and sweet, saying like, hey, thank you for choosing my sounds, and if there's anything else you like to collaborate with, or curious about what else I have in my library, feel free to reach out. But I saw that their 10 Deep Twitter and things like that has been like, nobody touched it since like for a whole like year before that. So I was like, oh, ain't nobody really on this. And I don't even know if he's on social media like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was
you'd be amazed who's on social media.
Yeah,
like, I've gotten a few messages back from people that I was like, I'm just doing this so that in my head I could check the box to say I did. And then I get a response. I'm like,
hey, you're right though.
Yeah.
One of my favorite rappers is this guy named GLC. And GLC, like I think I tagged him in like a story. It was like, yeah, this is one of my favorite rappers. And he started following me, and I was like, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's cool how like some people that you think because they're famous, they're like for sure got somebody running their stuff, or they're just not checking their inboxes like that. You never know. You never know. And some people try to like even like Harry Mack. If you message him on Instagram, you're going to get somebody from his team, but they're going to be like, hey, thank you for reaching out. I'm this person from his team. This is the email you send this question to so that Harry can get back to you. We can have the discussion. It's just, this is how you got to do it, because this is how we manage all of that.
See, that's cool.
Yeah. Like it's just like, La Russell. Phenomenal at that. His whole marketing thing is right now is like, send me an email. And he lists, you could be like, you want me on a show? You want to play basketball? You want to do a podcast? You want to do tic-tac-toe? You want to take a nap? Shoot him a message and he'll see what it is. And he will gauge it based off of the practicality,
See, so, that's cool. I feel like I have some stuff for La Russell. Like if
shoot him, trust me, shoot him an email.
Let me email
you. He is violently accessible. And it is, and I mean, his whole message right now is kind of preaching a lot of that. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about you.
Me.
And we got to start wrapping this up soon. So I've got two kind of big things I want to focus on before that. First, outside of just making music, you are a visual artist. You are you have your own clothing brand. Can you tell us a little bit? I mean, it's cool that you're naming the album after it, but can you tell us a little bit about Coolest of All Time?
Yeah. So Coolest of All Time, that phrase came from me just freestyling, and I think it was like I rhymed with like coat or goat, and I was like, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm a goat, and something like along the lines, Coolest of All Time came out of that little segment, and I was like, whoa, this is 2020. And I was like, whoa, I like that. And so I was on Etsy at the time, and I was just like, I just ordered some patches, and I just wanted to see what it looked like on my Letterman jacket, and I put them on the back of it, and I was like, this actually goes hard. And people were stopping me. They were saying, oh, your coat says coat. That's cool. And I was like, yeah, it stands for Coolest of All Time. And I was like, my name is Jonny Cool. They're like, oh, whoa. And folks who knew me thought it was a cool play on. And I've had a bit of fashion inspiration or being involved in the fashion here in Portland for a long time, inadvertently, really just dressing out of my mind in my music. I didn't realize that my mom and my father also had cool style when they were younger here. But
sensing a lot of lot of attachment through these lines.
Yeah, and so people would always be like, they didn't know my name. You know, they'd be like, oh yeah, hey, fashion dude, or like I remember rocking bow ties really heavy in the like 2010, 11 era. And people would be like, yeah, bow tie guy, you're always like fashionably like sharp. You're always, you dress so good. And so I thought, you know, I would, if I wear it and it's cool, people would start to like it. And so I started making coat for myself. Like before I made any for anybody else, I was like, I'm gonna just make my own stuff, just say it and just wear it. And people loved it. And like my little beanies and things like that. And it's like, that started me making the stuff for me and my buddy, you know, like, and just kind of watching it take off just by request. Yeah, even my IG page for coat is not like, yeah, get my jackets. You know, I just make whatever I make, and then if it's available, I'm gonna show you. You know, a lot of times it's good to hit me up and say, hey, you got any of this? But I think it's like making clothes that people can feel cool about. You're always gonna feel cool in a nice jacket, nice sweatshirt, something kind of accessory, and I try to keep it limited, like one of one, two of one, you know, or two of the things, just so you can feel like better about yourself. Like, I'm the only one with this thing right now. I'm like, I got this, you know, somebody else got it, but it's a different color. And so the uniqueness, feeling unique, feeling a little bit powerful. It's like clothing is my feathers, you know, like different jackets and things like that. And I'm not like I don't design clothes as far as like
you're not cutting out the material and sitting at the sewing machine for hours.
I think I said it. I think I phrased it the best the other day because I got to show my clothes at this fashion show at the halftime at the Blazers G League Portland Remix game, and I mentioned that I'm a stylist, that I can dress you. I can dress you, and that's the most I can do is create clothes that might look good on you. But if you are looking for something that look good on you, I can definitely help you. I can probably even go through your own closet and help you with it, because it's like I can hear your voice and I can say, oh, you need this kind of beat, or oh, it's just something a skill I picked up. It just kind of getting my nephews dressed, getting you know, help. My mom asking me, hey, well, what would you wear should I wear the purple one or the green one? And I was like, you know, so you kind of, you know, I just kind of built that. And so seeing people, you know, wear my clothes or acquire about them, I get excited. So I'm like, you know, let me make you something. Let me put you in something that's cool at least. And coolest of all time, coolest to me is like to be yourself to the fullest. Like that's how you become the coolest. Like once you find self-identity, once you're self-aware, and you're not like, well, everybody else in the room is drinking Pepsi. I don't really drink Pepsi, but I guess this is the thing. It's like, no. If you see everybody else doing the thing, you can do the other thing. Like you stay true to your cool. And I had to learn the hard way of how to be myself, you know. And because if you don't, people are going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you what to wear. They're going to push their agenda on you, and not like, oh, you don't know who you are, so you might end up wanting to be like somebody. You may not want to be like nobody else, but they're going to see you being as an empty little jar, and they're going to want to fill you up with some just trash, you know. So I had a person I used to make music with try to, you know, put their influence on me hard and try to son me and little brother me and stuff like that. I was like, nah, man, I know who I am. You know, I'm figuring it out. So I had to rush. I was like, I need to figure out who the hell I am, because I don't want this person in my life no more. And showing up, Jonny Cool is, you know, is me. You know, I'm, you know, if I'm the coolest of all time, you know, we can all be the coolest of all time. That's the thing about it. It's like being the best in the room. That means one person, you know, to be the coolest. Like, this is the coolest people in the room. This is the coolest. We're the coolest of all time, you know. So it's like we got to be, you know, and I got to be the coolest of all time. Coming from where I came from to here, you know, it's like, yeah. So I see that in potential in people. I'm like, you could be the coolest too. You just got to figure out who the hell you are.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that. That attaches to what we were saying off camera too. Remember, I was saying, I don't always want to do things just because it's like a thing you have to do, but I'll do anything because it's cool. Like that is always like the like quintessential reason for something being worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Now, before we wrap it up officially, this next question is probably the densest question in the interview. But we talked about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music, one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
Oh, man. See, that's a good question. Like when it's just me in music, like I feel like it's a life source. Like I had a good conversation with my dad just the other day, and I don't get to thank him enough for just like how, bringing me into this life and the blood and sharing the musical blood, because I said, Dad, I didn't choose music, I feel like it definitely picks me, and moments where I don't even listen to it, like the best part of music sometimes it gives me is the silence. And when I can appreciate the silence, music, the moment I hear it speak again, it's so beautiful. It's like, I want you to hear my silence, and then I want you to hear what else I have, because when music listens to you, it wants you to be quiet. It wants you to be still. It wants you to be quiet. And it wants you to hear the silence. It also wants you to hear all the layers that it has. And for me to do that, I don't know how to convey all the music I hear in my head yet. Like I need an orchestra. I need a band around me all the damn time. But what music gives me is like, it's like, hey man, like, remember when you were you're on your deathbed pretty much? I was like, really, I got wrecked in that accident, and I was connected to every tube possible, even when you poop, and then I just remember like my sister being there, my buddy Josh being there, and my buddy Meg being there, and they were like, you were writing the word music. You couldn't even talk. Damn. You were writing. It's like, I said, I don't even remember that. Yeah. I said, yeah, because you were out for 2.5 days, and then when you came to be, all you were trying to write down was the word music, and then you drew a star. And so I was like, music is connected, and I know that it's an art form, and I'm not a religious person, but I do know that every deity that has to do with music, has a good rep and a bad rep. And I'm ready for all that smoke from it. I feel like I said, maybe I signed maybe I made a deal or an agreement with something before I came to Earth about what has to be done. But music has to be done for me. And what music gives to me is, I think, even part of the bargain. It says, hey man, like, if you understand me, you listen to me, I can work with your life, even on your down days, even when you have $0, even when you have to walk 3 miles to go home, or you got to go to work on a night where you're not feeling good. Guess what is going to help you? Music is going to help me. Music may not have given me like my bread and butter, money, but it gives me just, I can talk. Like I said, it's angel language, man. I can speak to everybody. And when it comes to music, whether it's people who just listen to Bob Dylan all day, or somebody who listen to, some kind of crazy EDM stuff I don't even know about. Yeah. It's just, I can fit in that world. And so music gave me something to talk about, but also music gave me a little extra breath when I didn't have any in my body. I had an asthma attack, and the only thing I can remember was like, oh man, my son, my music. Yeah. So music, my mom, my family. So yeah, it's a gift from the gods.
Very much so. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, but with that being said, we are going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, what can we look forward to in the next 6 months?
In the next 6 months, you can look forward to Coat magazine.
Oh,
You can look forward to Coolest of All Time album being ready to drop in the next definitely 6 months, because you'll be able to hear a lot of the hit singles. You'll get to see the artwork from it.
We'll definitely come back and do a tuned in episode when the album's ready to come out.
Oh,
I would love to talk about it.
Will do. And and on top of that, you get to see me possibly paint a mural.
Oh, exciting!
Yeah, not sure when, but the opportunity has been at, so I'll be painting fashion clothes, but Cult Magazine is mainly a fashion thing, but we gonna work it out. So stay tuned. And
well, definitely looking forward to all of that. For this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Hey, peace, y'all. You can find me on IG at Jonny Cool Jupiter Black, but that's Johnny with no H. JONNY Jupiter Black. And I'm on all music platforms. Website coming soon.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Bleached by Josh. That's my boy. Make sure you go, find that name, website, Instagram, just like that. Angelic Noise. They're always moving and grooving. They got some good music out there. Man, peace to Juma Black. Man, got some good music. He got a new single out there, and man, and my sweet lady Lex, yeah, my girlfriend and my family. So peace, y'all. Sanders Family, Albina Music Trust. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. That being said, I've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Oh, yeah, yep.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a bit of a deep cut. It's one you think not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
Ooh. I feel like there is, what? I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. Consequence has Don't Quit Your Day Job. Mm-hmm. And it's so very relevant to this day. Like if you have a job and you also have a passion of something that you want to do, mm-hmm. Like I don't really hear anybody talk about that album. I didn't really hear much about, because it was kind of like in a weird stage of like no more CDs. And so like a lot of rappers who had dropped albums on CDs around that time, mm-hmm. you just, they
kind of fell through the cracks.
Kind of fell through the cracks. And so Consequences album, like he has his bars are witty, but I think thematically the whole scheme of things, his album just from beginning to the end mm-hmm. makes sense. His skits are funny. They're very College Dropout-esque. Mm-hmm. If you like the College Dropout, you'll love, that.
I love good skits. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there. If it's a good skit, I'm here for it.
Good skit, it's kind of, just thinking of one is kind of funny, and it brings you home. It brings you to a realism of being a working artist, mm-hmm. and also being an artist who doesn't just want to exist here, but you want to, he tells the story of like how he was A Tribe Called Quest on top, and then not, and then working at the mall, yeah. And it's kind of like, wow, like, yeah, that can happen to anybody, mm-hmm. But also your luck can change again, and you can be, back to stardom. So he just not only talked about the grind, the fall off, and the grind back up. It's just a good story. It's a good story to read, like to listen to. So I say, Don't Quit Your Day Job by Consequence,
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for that.
Oh, for sure.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
Jonny Cool, Jupiter Black.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.